Well, hello everybody. This is Daniel with Daniel's Bullion Coins, and yes, I have my sweet wife Ingrid with me.
Good morning.
And we're going to look at the week in review. How about we do that first?
Yeah, let's do that.
Week in review.
Okay. What'd
So
you see?
this week we have seen buyers and sellers right down the middle. It's pretty much even here at the shop. The smaller, lower income people is starting to disappear.
Yeah.
And I project that the scrap gold and the scrap silver is getting cleared out because people haven't been buying this silver, solid silver flatware as far as teapots and plates and things like that for the last 10 or 15 years. Silver's been too high. And for the last 10 or 15 years, gold really hasn't been a hot item with the ladies. They're staying away from gold. They're choosing silver. And I'm thinking that we've refined all the silver and all the gold. We're getting there where we've reduced it down, and the scrap is not going to be like it was in the past. And like I said in my last video, I really recommend that you get out of your scrap now before there's a huge flood of people coming in. You figure there's only half of 1% of the investors are in gold and silver. And if there starts to be a run in gold and silver like we talked about last time, these small mom and pop shops are not going to be able to handle it. Now there'll be a lot of crooked places that rise up, and there'll be a lot of problems with that, and you'll have a hard time finding a trustworthy place. So get your scrap refined now ahead of time before we're inundated with business.
Right. I agree with that.
Let's talk a little bit about the percentages that things went up.
Let's see.
So silver went up 3% this week. Gold went up 4%. We're up about.
It's actually opposite.
Opposite. Okay. Yeah. Well,
That's
everything's
okay.
up.
It's 3 and 4%. I mean,
Everything's
that's
up
pretty
across
close.
the board. So so the market, the gold and silver altogether are approximately 50% up for the year. And
That's
the
astounding.
stock market is actually, it's way up. Of course, it's at 45, 47, something like that, thousand. But it's actually down about 25% relative to gold and silver.
Right.
And I think that number is going to get much, much wider as gold and silver continue to climb. I think we're saying goodbye to anything below 4,000 on gold. This may be the last weekend, definitely next weekend. The last chance to buy gold under 4,000 and the last chance to buy silver under $50. We're going to say goodbye to that.
Even, I mean, the coins are more than that now.
Oh yes, that's just the spot price.
Yeah, that's it. Have to be clear. You can't come in and buy a coin here less than 4,000
or sell
now.
one. I got a lot of people wanting to sell at spot. Bring bars in and want to sell at spot. We sell the bars at spot.
Yeah,
so we don't buy the bars at spot.
No.
So. Yes, the coins are much more expensive. I think Eagles are like the 2025s are running about $57 per ounce.
Yes.
You can get the randoms, which have some fingerprints or damage on them, at about 52 or 53.
Right.
So yes, the coin prices are approaching $60 and $65 within the next week or two. We'll be $65, I project, on Eagles here maybe in October.
Right.
And I think the spot price, of course, I projected 4,000 by Christmas. Over a year ago, I said 4,000 by Christmas. Now it could be 45 by Christmas, and it could be 65 for silver by Christmas.
Yeah.
So those are the reality numbers that we're looking at, and that's with things just steadily going right along without any huge disruption. Going back to the review, the week in review. You know, we're talking about the shutdown.
Yes.
We had the shutdown, and this Office of Management and Budget, which is under the executive branch, has taken over the government hiring and firing. And so now we have an opportunity to clear out some more of the Democrat-funded programs, the waste and the fraud and the abuse.
Yeah.
And it's Republicans too, so it's not just, but primarily the waste, fraud, and abuse is what the executive branch and this Ross Voigt is going to go after. And they're going after that right now while the government is shut down, because the ball is in the executive branch under Trump's control right now.
Yeah.
To clear things out.
And this green, Trump called it on Truth Social the Green New Scam, so the Green New Deal.
Yes.
Get rid of that.
Right, get rid of all these things where they're just funneling money back to Democrat programs and not really thinking about the people.
Exactly. Well, also this weekend review, we want to thank our customers, the ones
Yes.
who,
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so we had a video
Yeah.
even this morning we're having technical problems, but we're new at this. We do it in
Right.
one shoot, and we want to thank everybody. We had well over 1,000
I
views,
know.
which was a record for one of our records views, and we thank everybody. And we really want to thank the people that come in and comment. Hey, I saw your
Yes, I know.
video,
That's so
and I enjoyed this
encouraging.
or that. One guy mentioned skills, and so that was
Yes.
encouraging. Yeah, and speaking of skills, yeah, it's interesting how important that is.
Yes, it
You know,
is.
to young people to try to explain to them. I had a granddad talking about his grandson, and I would encourage you that these kids that are coming up 12, 13, 14 years old, and they're looking for that summer job, let them get a job as a plumber. Even if you have
Right.
to apprentice them,
A
like
trade in the
like they work
trade.
for free,
Yes.
and maybe the granddad or the dad has to actually supplement the child's income to
Right.
get them to have some plumbing experience their first summer, maybe work as an electrician the next summer, and then work as a carpenter the next summer, then maybe a mechanic job, and get some trade and some skills under their belt so that they can do just odd jobs around the house and save that money.
It's so true.
That you can have some skills that you can, and they may find out what they like and don't like as they go along, and they may take their academics more seriously if they
Right.
realize the alternative is the trades, which is it's a hard life,
But it's
but it's
also
very rewarding.
very rewarding. I
Yes.
mean, you mentioned to kids today, they don't even know how to vacuum.
Right, trying to
But
yes,
if they learn the trades, all the different trades, like you
yes.
were just mentioned, they will be the hero
Yes,
in the
and
days to
you can
come.
go into, say you've got a little bit of plumbing experience, a little bit of electrical, maybe block laying or
Right.
framing. You can go and be a general contractor.
Oh yeah.
You can be a supervisor because you've done a little bit of it. One of the biggest mistakes I realized when I got to college was I had no real world training or experience.
Yeah.
And other people that were slightly older than me that were in the trades, they could come in and they understood 2x4s and different lengths of lumber and 4x8 lumber. They understood all of these things, the standards that the material comes in.
Right.
And I was trying to
It's a
learn
drafting class.
drafting.
Yeah.
I was taking drafting in college, trying to learn to be an architect, and I just didn't have the understanding of the materials.
Right.
So I'm encouraging young people, granddads, dads, tell your kids to get some trade experience.
So
And that way they
important.
may find a skill. I remember one time we were building houses. I was a contractor and I understood all the trades. And the block layer was coming in on early in the morning, Monday, to lay block. And so I got there early and I started mixing the mortar. And he never showed up. We didn't have cell phones back then. He
Yeah.
didn't show up. So I started laying the mud and started laying the block. And I just laid one little wall and I was so worn out and so tired. And they came in right after lunch or something. They had decided to go to another job and then do me after lunch. So they come in after lunch. I've been working all morning on this wall, struggling. And in just no time, they got out of the truck and they started laying that block. And in just no time, they were up 2 or 3 courses high. Well, it's the experience,
Yes.
the muscle and the strength, not just your mind. You learned little tricks in your mind
Right.
to do that skill and that trade. And you strengthen the muscles, your physical muscles, your brain muscles, and you learn to be really good at something. Even if it's just mowing grass,
Right.
you learn how to take care of your lawnmower, you
Yeah.
learn how to take care of sharpening it, and you be responsible. It's just an excellent thing.
Yeah, it's so true.
So a customer mentioned skills, so I went
Yes.
on a tangent with that today.
Well, I know that's your thing. I mean, you're
Yes.
big on that. It's true. All
Yes.
should be. I got a question though. Why did silver pull back $2? Is there a correction?
Okay,
coming?
yeah. So silver did have a pullback this week, and people are like, okay, we're expecting the ceiling that we've talked about in the past, and then it turns into a floor. I don't think we're going to have that scenario anymore. I think this is a complete
Yeah.
breakout because we hit the numbers I talked about last week: 3,800 in gold and 48.50 in silver intraday. And so those are the numbers that I think that we're going to see a catapult. But the $2 pullback, what that is, and when you
Yeah.
see that nowadays, that's the manipulators. They step in because they can look into the market and they can see where people have put in their stop orders.
It's just not fair.
They have that advantage,
I
that
know.
they play everybody.
Oh.
So if you're trying, say you want to go, like we had a holiday this week, and you want to go celebrate the holiday, you want to step away from your computer for a little bit, which a lot of people did this week.
Yeah.
They can see that the volume is really low, and they can see that people put in a stop order. In other words, if the market
went
drops
down.
below a certain number, sell so that I don't lose any money.
Right.
Well, these market manipulators look in there. They see low volume. They see all these stop orders. They know they can drop $5 in. They can bet $10 or
That's just
$50
wrong.
that it's going to drop and it does. And they pick up all those stop orders, and so they win the bet. And then they go back and buy while it's really low, and they watch it climb back up because they
Just
know they
so
manipulated it
wicked.
down.
Yeah.
So you see the market manipulators playing the market like that. They're not playing it in the shorts, so to speak. They're playing it by looking in and manipulating holidays and opportunities where there's huge amounts of stop orders
Right.
or stop losses in the market.
Just
So
fair.
it's a go scenario from here, and there's just small opportunities that the market manipulators are going to use to maybe try to make some profit, $2 per ounce.
Right.
Now they're putting millions, maybe billions in at a time, and reaping huge rewards on that.
Do you think the Comex is still selling out? Do you think they're going to sell
Yes,
out?
the Comex is just unloading massive amounts of silver
Yeah.
and gold. Billions and billions of ounces every month are being delivered to an unknown, which I think it's the U.S.
You think it's U.S.?
I think the U.S. is preparing for some sort of a stable coin-backed currency. And remember, I've always said, and I haven't heard anybody else say this, that we're going to separate into two different currencies. We're going to have the reserve currency status, and then we're going to have the sovereign wealth fund stable coin currency of the U.S.
Wow.
That is coming. And I think that's why Trump is talking about the 51st state of Canada, because they're going to need that financial help also.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
Yes, they're in trouble. And so as things start to get a little rocky, we'll see that start to escalate. This week also, remember, we've got the Venezuelan cartel war that Trump's talking about going to Congress and once he gets
Oh, my
permission,
goodness.
it's Katie bar the door. They'll be able to bomb. They're kind of bombing outside of congressional approval. So, but once we get congressional approval, I think it'll just go crazy. And also, Sunday is the end of the Hamas opportunity to accept the deal. So they may go to throwing bombs over there. I don't think so. I think Hamas is going to accept the deal.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be quiet, but there's always that possibility. Which possibilities is what drives gold and silver? Fear.
There's also that Fed Treasury battle between the Feds
Oh
and
my
the
goodness,
Treasurer.
isn't that interesting? How now I think that the Treasury, which is under Trump's control, the executive branch, is going to revalue gold back from $42.22 per ounce, which would put trillions of dollars into the Treasury, which would then start the stable coin and the sovereign wealth fund and all of that. But the Fed now, who has a coupon for the gold, is now talking about revaluing it on their side. So there's this struggle to see, between Jerome Powell and Trump. And there's some speculation that Trump is not able to fire Jerome Powell.
Really?
So we need to keep an eye on that and see what happens, because there's a big internal battle going on right there.
Well, has the Fed pivoted, do you think?
Oh my goodness, they've pivoted. We've talked about pivot for 10 or 15 years, and it's happened. And nobody's really talking much about it, but that's why gold and silver is climbing, because the Fed has officially pivoted back to adding money into the market and using the things to juice the market and spur the market. So yes, we have had the official pivot, which has always been talked about for years and years and years, that's when the gold and silver are going to take off. And then it's what's happening right now.
Yeah. Wow.
They're putting too much money in, too much stimulus, too much money printing, interest rates are dropping. We
Yeah.
have the official pivot. And when that's one other reason why gold and silver are going to climb. But the main reason gold and silver are going to take off is because the banks are stockpiling. A few
Yeah.
weeks ago, we talked about how the amount of dollar holdings dropped and the gold is surpassed, where gold was higher than the
Right.
dollar holdings. Well, that is just getting further and further apart. The gold holdings are just exponentially increasing, and the dollar holdings are really, really dropping. That means they're using dollars to buy gold, so gold is going to continue to skyrocket.
Wow.
It's going to
Yes.
double from here. Somebody
Yeah.
asked me the other
Right.
day here, and they were dumbfounded when I said gold's going to double. And then I
Well, it's
told them, I
gone
said,
up 50%.
yeah, what do you mean? Silver's going to
in a
triple
year.
from here.
Yeah.
So that's a no-brainer. Continue to
Right.
watch our videos, and we're going to go over all these little reasons, how and why. We have the
Yeah.
5 pillars that we talk about in all of our videos, and next week maybe we'll go into a little bit more depth on those 5 ways that we can 100% prove that gold and silver are going to go to the moon.
Yeah.
And why in our opinion, and why what we're doing is getting into gold and silver.
Yeah. So stay tuned,
Stay tuned for
everybody.
then. Bless everybody. Have a great day.
Blessings.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.